deck. I don't remember which deck I did your reading.
You did the words part, then you did the runes, and then you chose something else, but I don't feel like the deck that you used last time is what I need today.
Right. Because I'm trying to remember if I gave you my Wildwood or I might have given you my Crystal Visions.
I think it was the Crystal Visions.
Okay, got it. All right. So if you've seen me do all of my decks, and I think I might have done all of my decks across all of these streams. So I've got my Wildwood, which is my standard Heathen deck. I've got my Dragon Tarot, which is pretty cool.
We do dragons. I feel like they need to be read today.
You want to do dragons?
Yeah, and then your Wildwood too.
And
it just has so much going on. I need to figure out what to do.
Okay, you want the dragons and the Wildwood.
Mm-hmm.
See. Okay. All right. I will. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a spread type because I'm gonna be using both decks. I'm gonna be doing confirmation stuff, basically. So I'm gonna do the same 4 points across the spread that I always do, and then I'm gonna use the other deck and use that as a confirmation. So Dragon, and Wildwood. All right. Okay,
now,
so we're gonna do the.
Babe's making me hungry again, but I'm focused. He's just eating. Sorry.
All right. So so I'm gonna do the Wildwood as the primary because it's got the richer symbolism, in my opinion, and then the dragon. Then the dragon one will be used as the reinforcement. That's how we're gonna go with this one. All right. So let's kick things off. FireFae shuffle. Excuse me, that was totally ungentlemanly. But
that was from me, sorry. That was from me. My bad.
Oh, look at that. I take the burp. I burp, she takes the hit for me. What a gal.
That was my bad. Sorry.
Consider yourselves lucky. She never does that for me.
I forgive you. And I don't do that often. 59. Dispersing. Creating success. With the king's presence, there is a temple, fruitful to cross the great river. Constancy bears fruit. Definitions, dividing lines, established patterns of life and thought. All these can be dispersed and revealed as an illusion. Center your inner authority and let your decisions flow from the essential, underlying source holding everything together. The dissolution of old forms releases energy into new purpose and direction. Where and how can you be less rigid? As energy and vitality is liberated from old boundaries, where will it go? All right. So, yeah, that makes sense, right? So, I'm kind of making a generalization, an assumption. It's something that's true of me that we all have our stubborn little habits, right? The little.
Sorry, I was talking to Stein. Sorry.
The little ticks, the little ticks that are just there. And we often have quite a relationship to the patterns in life that keep driving us into some of these character traits, some of which could be on the detrimental side, right? And they might be connected to a whole chain of events of behaviors you do because you don't see why you ought to do things another way. It's a perfectly suitable way and yada, yada, yada. And you don't realize there was a simpler way you could have been doing it the whole time, which would have changed everything. You're not allowing yourself the eureka moment, right? So this is the process that breaks up what is holding you back from having a chance to do things differently, right? It's dispersing the pattern of something that you're used to that's operating on a very subconscious, not unconscious, but subconscious level because of, just something it brings you to in say you have favorite little little slogans or catchphrases you like to talk when you're talking with like your girlfriends or something like that, right? And there's a whole modus operandi of a conversation that then leads to the moment where it's just like, hey, you get to use your cool little slogan that you're known for, right? You know, now that pattern is breaking up, right? And it's all of a sudden that slogan, like, it doesn't have its natural opportunity to present itself, right? And so you're dispersing your identity with this this habit pattern that you used to have, right? And that's just an example. I'm not saying I'm reading anything that's exactly like that, but that's giving you an example of something on a social level, because otherwise it just sounds like we're talking about the way you like to lift your finger when you drink your tea, and that doesn't quite cause an identity crisis, right? So anyway, I've blabbed forever on just the I Ching, and you've got this is going to be a long one, folks. All right. Your guiding spirit through this ordeal, air elemental, the white pelican. The white pelican is about ease, optimism, grace, and cooperation.
That's going to be difficult with the situation, but I hear you.
Okay. We'll see, right? Because it depends also on the nature of the dispersing, right? Like typically, like a dispersal often means like it's an energy release. It talks about energy release here. Once an energy release happens, it does kind of lead to these conditions, right? So it would actually make sense. Dispersal is the conditions that clear the environment for the white pelican. Okay, so in our focus position, I'm gonna run through the wildwood and the runes first, and then come back with the confirmation from the dragons. So in our focus position, 3 of vessels, joy. It's a pretty good focus position.
My lucky number.
All right. So you've got the 3 of vessels there, and uaj. The nature of things that give you that sense of joy are changing. Right? It's not reverse joy. It's upright, right? The joy is not going away, but it is inherently transforming and no longer going to be the way that you've recognized it. Origins. We have the 9 of bows reversed, which this is the respect card, right? So there was a manner of insult for, you know, the bows. This is fire. This is willpower. This is the doing, right? You know, you did a whole bunch of shit, and somebody or somebodies who needed to appreciate it didn't appreciate it, right? You know, just that unspoken thing with people where, you know, you appreciate something someone does for you, right? Especially if it was like a whole, like, this is a 9 of swords. This is like a whole thing that you did.
I know who the person is. Yeah.
What did you do?
It's to do with the situation, honey. It's the person.
Canas reversed. So there was something of a matter of ignorance or incompetence involved here, right? There was an inability, an unknowledgeability. This is all in the origins, right? This is about the past, per se. This is about sources of things, where they came from, right? So there was a kind of an ignorance occurring that caused this disrespect. So how do we evaluate this situation? We have the Page of Arrows reversed, which is represented by a wren. All right, so at the moment, it would seem that we got the Kanaj reversed, and then the Page of Arrows is reversed. So that's telling me that there's a difficulty in learning. There's a learning difficulty present at hand that is associated with this. But let's get the actual rune for this position. Here's Wunyo, which is coincidentally joy, right? So here's where the joy is. It's here, but the problem is that it is not mentally growing. This is not the mind of like, we're all supposed to be the mind of the eternal student, no matter how old you are, so on and so forth, right? So the inner student is not present with this situation. So what kind of decisions ought we make? We have 8 of stones pops up, funny enough, which is called skill. So this is an advice of craft work, right? Of getting really focused on the ability that you have to do the things that you're talented at and that you enjoy to do. Hiwash. Right? And sticking with this skill is going to be the right direction. It's going to unfold the path ahead of you as you need it. So let me run these confirmations then. Shuffle. All right. We have the Page of Cups reversed. So whatever this joyful situation that's coming, that's changing, represents, it's coming from, it's emotional stagnation, right? There's the idea of emotional maturity, right? Not just intellectual maturity, right? There's emotional maturity. There's the next level of emotional development that you're supposed to be a student of as well, right? And so that's an overarching reason why. Because it's kind of like you got a group of friends, they're all still into Pokemon, and you going on to demonology because you take shit seriously, right? But you can still have fun. It's not ruined your fucking life. So it's kind of like that. It's you've matured the things that entertain you, and it's harder to find people to appreciate the new level. Because I go through this all the time. It's one of the first things at this point that I tell people. It's like, hi, I'm Zeralath. I'm going to be better tomorrow, so I hope you like the new me tomorrow, right? Like, I practically have to introduce myself like that, because people have no idea how detached from all sorts of little aspects about myself that I am, that I'm actively trying to destroy until I figured out this adulting thing they talk about. It probably starts with putting a shirt on. I'll learn that lesson the hard way. Thank you. All right.
You in a shirt. That'll be the day.
Nah. We got the High Priestess reversed. So this is, this joy was not coming from a place that was incredibly in depth in looking for the mystery of things, right? It wasn't serving that purpose that is fulfilling to your curiosities, the things that your soul needs, right? Well, then we got the sun reversed in our evaluations. I'll show you this one. It's almost a Yaldabaoth, because it is a lion dragon, but Yaldabaoth don't look this good. Yaldabaoth's fucking ugly. But anyway.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, the beholder with all the bazillion googly eyes. Yeah, no. Fuck.
They're Fae, so of course I'm going to love them. They're part of the Fae.
Fuck Jehovah. But anyway, the Fae are fine. That's not what Jehovah is. And anyway.
No, I'm just saying dragons are part of that sphere. They're part of the Fae. That's why they're pretty in their own way.
I think I see what you're saying. There's certainly a kind of higher order of magical being. I mean, yeah, because what are dragons in Norse mythos but like corrupt dwarves? Well, I mean, dark elves are corrupt dwarves, but like powerful, like greedy, corrupt dwarves. It's a specific type of thing that happens to a dwarf, thus where Fafnir comes from. But anyway, So the sun over here, reverse. So, in short, that way that these events that you are partaking in, they don't fill you with that same kind of joy. I mean, this is connecting to the joy in a certain way. This is the sunrise, right? This is the warmth of the sun, the day, and it's upside down, right? This stuff doesn't make your day anymore, right? It doesn't brighten your day the way it used to. And we got the moon, but it's reversed.
Seems like I have a lot of reversals today.
Yeah, you do. You very much do. You got two that are not. All your confidence.
So it seems like I have a lot of blockages that I need to release too, if there's reversals.
Right. I mean, the most important, like, with the way I do these readings, right? Like, your psyche, once you're, like, that's the thing with the tarot, I think, like once you're aware, once the card comes out reversed, you see it contextually reversed, that often tells you everything that you need to know, because your mind is going to think about, man, how do I straighten that out? Right? So I as the reader, I don't have to get too analytical about the card in that manner. I just have to stick to the intuitives of the message and make sure I'm looking at the symbolism that pops out at me for you from each card, right? And so the runes are the real energies, right? So reflecting on the past here with Kenaz, right? Because this is directly correlated to, your page arrows and your 8 of stones over here, right? So with Kenaz, reflect on what you're capable of, or what you're struggling to be capable of that you're supposed to be capable of, right? Like me, I beat myself up because I think I'm a lousier guitarist than I ought to be. And then I pretend that this lie is true because nobody's called me up to be in their band, right? So we can't beat ourselves up, but you look at what you're capable of, what you know how to do, and you make sure that you've re-evaluated what that means, right? To make sure that you have put that into proper application and bettered it for yourself. But you have the moon reversed over here, right? So, effectively, right now, probably because of this Kenaz situation, because if the skill is set back, then it makes it difficult for you to be in the mindset to do the thing. If I was a worse playing guitarist, I'd have a hard time, putting out any sloppy scratch tracks at all, right? I'd sit there and I would just say, God, this is an embarrassment, right? But you can't do that to yourself. You just can't do that to yourself, right? So you aren't in the mind state. You're not in the mood. You're not in the moon for going into the work of this skill. And it's to get yourself there. And you have to recalibrate the little things about how you do stuff to doing that skill, because you're going through this dispersal process, right? And then you got to find what the white pelican is asking for with ease, optimism, grace, and cooperation, right? The cooperation part, that's interesting as this has been. I don't know if you want to share with everybody what this reading is about, now that I've kind of run through it blind.
I have a situation going on in my personal life that kind of came to a head, and without going into details, this person hurt me in ways that no one should have. I just don't want to go into too much detail.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I know what it's about. I mean, as her husband, I should know these things.
Yeah.
It was a very hard thing, and
yeah,
it it basically was pushed under the rug like it was not a big deal. And I quite literally couldn't be the victim, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's a gaslighting technique that comes from a very narcissistic trait. Not saying that the person that did this is a narcissist, but
he is. This person is very much a narcissist.
So then that's exactly what to expect, and you need to cut ties with that person entirely.
That's where it's difficult with the situation because it blew up such in a I have to protect myself, my family, and our oldest.
This person have the capability of physically
I'm not afraid of what he would do to me. I'm more afraid of what I do to him. And I wouldn't be able to stop.
Well, I'd say tear him to pieces and don't be afraid of yourself.
I mean, I'm trying to be strong in this situation. But I feel like my family wasn't given much choice. And much... I want to say... What is the word that I'm looking for, honey? They basically just threw it into our lap and said we're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Well, I would... I would recommend...
This person is a very mean person when he touches these substances. And I'm more afraid of if he hurts our oldest, our dogs, people that I live with, of what I would do. Not what he would do, but what I would do if he hurts anybody that I care about.
Yeah. Well,
and I don't want to flag the show, so I'm trying to make sure.
No. It's fine. Look. If you've never done magic to change the situation, try making a ritual that makes.
Me and my
go away.
Family member are in the process of doing one, and it's just. I might as well be honest. I didn't sleep last night. I was up until 5 a.m. Because my brain would shut off because I have not been in this close proximity to said person in a long time. They haven't been in my sphere unless it's a family get-together.
Yeah.
And I
I
don't know how I would handle it.
Yeah, but
if
still
I caught him by himself.
But there's still a connection there, regardless of the fact that it's not in your mind. You're still with people whom keep that person in mind, right? And so, it's just like vampires have to be invited in, don't they? Right? So you need to work this out with magic, and
that's why I wanted to use the dragons, because I need to know who I need to work with.
Circumstances will disperse him. The circumstances will disperse him, right? Because this is very vampiric behavior. And maybe I'm just saying that because I saw Nostrum.
Oh, no, you're right. He's very much like that, and he's very enabled in his vices.
Sure. I mean, look, this is Loki. You want to understand this fucking thing that some of you idiots want to worship? This is Loki. Somebody who is fucked up, selfish, and nothing but fucking trouble. That's the Jotun spirit that can burn.
And that's why I'm afraid of not what he would do to me, but what I would do to him. And Stein can tell you I'm not a violent person.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But that's
what it's bringing up in me, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, you need to. Yeah. Well, like I said, You need to run this through. You need to, like, you know, it's consider it like a sympathetic magic thing. If you have to, make a goddamn fucking doll of this guy and fucking, like, throw him across a field ritually to be like, stay the fuck away over there. Like, do some, like, come up with a thing. Go through an action that works out the energy that
I do have a body of water
push.
in my backyard.
Sure, right. Like,
Water is always good.
This is
Water
the art.
is
This is the
cleansing.
art and science of magic. This is, this is war magic, right? This is
He's basically bringing out the warrior in me that I haven't had since I had to flee a situation when I was younger.
I listen. I say, do it. I say, you know, be responsible. You're adult. You're an adult. You know, can make adult decisions. And I'm not going to pretend we live in a world where the best advice is always to discourage violence. No, violence is on the table. This is what keeps us safe, is violence is on the table.
That's
So,
what I'm afraid of, is how far I go.
You need to evoke whenever the situation has arisen where either that person is discussed or that person is present, you must evoke in your divine will and authority things that matter in context, because you don't want to, like, force things on, like, conversations with mom and dad or whatever the delicate, you know, it's family politics, love, you know, y'all love each other and all that shit. All those complicated dynamics, but
I don't love him. I never have loved this person.
No, not that person. I'm talking about the people, because look, this is not you. Otherwise you would just say, like, fucking restraining order and it's done. This is you tolerating other people that fucking are stupid enough to fucking trust this twat. And he's just going to come in and put your family in fucking danger. That's negligence. Whoever's fucking allowing this, which is giving you trauma because you fucking see it, is gross negligence because of the people you're trying to protect, which is the whole reason why you're going through this in your nervous system. So
Okay.
you need to do magic because you don't want to fucking hurt somebody. You want the situation to fucking change. Do magic. Cast him out in magic.
I know he's not going to change. He's had every opportunity to change and he won't.
Yeah,
okay.
You're gonna when you do this, it doesn't matter about his change.
Guys,
you have more power than he does. Journey. Branch out to new worlds. So that just means extend out to new different kinds of people, new different kinds of ways that people are living their lives and things like that. And you're trying to make that world where this person's not in it. All right, that's it.